Alright, today I got this 92 Geo Metro convertible LSI, and I'm going to replace a wheel cylinder which was found to be leaking during a previous brake inspection. And all this is, here's a bleeder screw, here's a cap where your brake line will go in, and when you press it the fluid goes in here and these things push out on both ends. Mine, if you pull this rubber cup back, kind of hard to do one-handed, but there's fluid in there, so that means it's leaking and will only get worse, so time to change it. Pretty simple, 2 bolts hold it on. And I got the car jacked up already, so let's get started with pulling the wheel, and it shouldn't be a very big repair. Now here's the where the wheel cylinder is located. The fasteners come in from the back. Let me get that socket set up and I'll bring you back. So the first thing I'm going to do here is remove this brake bleeder because it's a little bit in my way, so that's a 10 mil on mine. Get that out of the way. That'll give me better access to the brake line nut there, which sharp-eyed viewers might notice there's already fluid there. Yes, I did pre-crack it loose for photographic clarity. Pull that back out of the way gently. Everything here is 10 mil. This one I might have to go with the socket. Where's my ratchet? There it is. There she goes. Bring it around to the front side for the removal. Alright, back on the front side. Just going to kind of move these out of the way a little bit here. Maybe pry them out of the way a little bit. And this thing should pop out pretty easy. There we go. And now maybe we can see inside this one. See the brake fluid starting to leak out. You can see it's wet in there. So as far as putting this back in, I've taken the bleeder bolt out just again to get the access. That one's for the brake line. That one's for the brake line. Bleeder bolt, our 2 bolts go there, and we can see these have slots in them. We just have to line those up straight up and down to fit on here. So let me get you zoomed in there a little. So you put the slot right on that end there. Got to get that out a little farther open, or better yet, this side is pushed out. There we go. Get that back down where it goes. Get that lined up to home again. Good. Put our fasteners in the back. So I'm going to snug up those 2 fasteners. And put my brake line on. Move it around a little bit maybe. Make sure it's centered. And tighten that down. Line wrenches are the appropriate thing. I don't feel like going and getting mine. That one's tight, and we'll put our bleeder screw back in. I'm going to take the cap off now. Just hand tight for now. Now as I go to reinstall my brake drum, I'm gonna close. I'm gonna trick that self-adjuster back all the way, tap these inward. It's gonna make it the only way this is gonna go back on, of course. And then that'll recenter itself once we hit the brakes. Now I gotta put that center nut back in. You really should replace this. Holy cow, I got you guys zoomed in. Be back. That's a little better. This has a part on the end here that's kind of thin metal, and what you do is you hit that into a little notch over here. So you put this down. It really should be replaced every time because that metal fatigues out and gets a hole in it, whatever. I'm not so concerned about it on this one. And then you hit that so it goes down into that tang so that nut can't back off. And now that nut can't rotate. If you put a new one, it'll have a a nice fresh cone on it, and you can hammer it down. But they seem to hold on this car just fine. Now you want to come up to your brake fluid reservoir and fill that all the way up. The reason I say fill it all the way up is because you don't want it to run low while you're bleeding it out. Now I'm not going to go over the proper brake bleeding procedures because everybody you ask has a different opinion on how you do it, but the main thing is you're trying to get any air bubbles that are in that new cylinder is full of air until when you get it, and you have to get it filled with fluid. So what I usually do is just back out the bleeder a little bit there and just let it drip into a pan. I got a pan down there. It'll just drip by gravity a little bit, and just let it drip a little bit, let it fill up that wheel cylinder and start getting it bled out, and then follow whatever procedures you believe are best for bleeding brakes. Or find a separate video on that, because again it's controversial. Some people say pump the brakes, some people, you know, they say only a vacuum bleeder will do it. I have one that's pressurized. You can start pressurizing the thing up front and just crack this thing loose and it'll shoot the fluid out. There's a lot of different ways to do the same job. Alright, put the wheel back up, get these started by hand. I'm going to set the car down on the ground and then I'm going to torque these. There you have it. Wheel cylinder replaced on a 92 Geo Metro LSI convertible. Did it easy DIY project. Minimum of tools required. No specialty stuff really. The only specialty tool I really used on this one was this tool, which is a dust cap removal tool. This one says VM-V216. Makes it kind of easy to get those caps off. You usually end up getting them with a screwdriver or something, and you bend them up, and you know, it's kind of nice to have the tool for the job. I hereby declare this wheel cylinder Wildwood certified.